Reality Podcast.
Hey, as always, welcome to Skewed Reality Podcast. This is your girl Bree, aka the Ego Bruiser, and this is a place where perspective meets reality. Now, quickly before we jump into the episode, I wanted to do a pulse check with my audience because I'm feeling you guys right now, and more than ever, if you don't know, I do appreciate the support that I've been receiving. I'm super grateful and I'm satisfied with the results because it motivates me to go just a little bit harder and bring some more content to you guys that is appealing and really involves and engages you guys in some of the things that are going around us in the world. But to be honest, I've been going down this rabbit hole. Like ever since we had a season change where we went from the fall and we jumped right into the winter. And if you live in the Midwest, you know exactly what I'm talking about because we have all 4 seasons. And I'd kind of argue that we have 5 because sometimes it's hot, cold, and what the hell is that? But to get back on the topic, regardless of that, we have summer, barely, spring for sure, fall, and winter most of the year. So since we've gone into super cold temperatures, daylight savings has occurred, and where I used to be the person that would come home from work in the late afternoon and have hours to myself to configure my life, I now literally crash and fall asleep at 7 or 8 or o'clock at night, where I used to go to bed at 9 to 11 o'clock at the latest and still would be able to function off of 5 or 6 hours of sleep. So I've been very intentional in my life about switching some things around and really being in tune with not going in this time warp or continual, but to be in tune with being adaptable to change and taking myself to the next level. So as we enter or are already in the last quarter of the year where we have literally a month and 2 weeks left before we see 2020 full vision ahead, everybody should be on focus mode. Everybody won't be on focus mode, but you know, I just wanted to drop that dime. Everybody should. It's been really weird for me. And I don't know if it is the effect of depression, if it's the effect of seasons, time, but I've really been going through it with myself. So give me your feedback, tweet me, Facebook me, write on my SoundCloud, do what you gotta do. But I really wanna know how you guys feeling in this last leg of the year. Are you nervous? Have you been going to depression? What's been going on? It's just a pulse check. Tune in, tap in, whatever you need to do. Let's kick this episode 4 off. Now, as most of you beautiful and handsome people know already, it is, in fact, cuffing season. And for those that don't know what cuffing season is, it's that time of the year where we tap into our natural selection to look and find a mate that can cuddle and keep us warm and somebody we could spend the holidays with. I mean, it happens every year. And then sometimes you find somebody throughout the winter that you can create longevity with for a lifetime, and other times you'll have to
say goodbye for the summer.
Now, at this point in my life, I'm not really looking to say goodbye for the summer because I'm vetting any and everybody that I talk to very fucking carefully. I'm not into wasting time. I know I'm not old as hell yet, but I am turning 26 in like a month or 2. So I'm just on some different shit. So just to tie this in to everything cuffing season related, and shout out to Fab, by the way. We gotta give that Soul Tape 3 some spins because that shit is a classic. You better not sleep on it. If you've never heard it, go listen to it. And no, I did not get paid for that promotion, but that's my nigga. So just to go back on topic, the question is for you ladies and men out there, is making more than your man appropriate? Do you mind being the breadwinner when you are looking or in an active relationship? And what is that relationship dynamic like? Do you expect him to obtain or match your hustle? Or do you figure out a role in this new generation that we're in? I'm super curious because it's like, what does this generation stand for? We always talk about equality. We always talk about having the same power dynamic. But if you are, in fact, a woman earning more than your man, what does that look like? Now, I've been in that type of situation several times over because I've just been in the past that fixer upper type ass bitch. Like, you know, I see you down and out. Let's build. I have a vision. If you follow the blueprint, you can be somebody too, and you can be just as stable as I've been able to become. Now, for clarity, for all the bum ass niggas out there, don't think that's an opportunity to shoot your shot at me. That was the old me. This is the new me. You live, you learn, you decide what you are worthy of and what you do or do not like. And some people like that dynamic. But as hardworking as I am and the time that I put in to build myself up, I'm not looking for anybody that is beneath me. And that's really hard for me to say because there is no timeline in which you should have certain things per se. But if a person is coming to you fully equipped, please find your match out there. Don't pick no man or woman who is not fully equipped with the same tools that you have, because you'll find yourself feeling the life sucked out of you, taking care of somebody else, trying to build their dream up, and in return is yours being built up while they're down. Now, I could see the dynamic where you meet a man, he has it, but he loses it. Or you meet a woman, she has it, but she loses it. That's a different type of story. But to be fully equipped and meet somebody who ain't got it like you, I'm going to be brutally honest with my audience. It's a waste of time. And I'll tell you why it's a waste of time. Because ultimately, it boils down to the individual's mindset. We are human. We go through ups and downs in life. It's not to say that you can't ever be down and out and be in a relationship. But if that person that you are picking up has been raised or in an environment their whole life where they have been in survival mode and know nothing but using other people's resources or conditions to advance themselves instead of equipping themselves with a vision to be better than where they came from, you will find yourself miserable as hell. And I've been in this situation on more than one occasion. And I can tell you that the kind heart that I used to have is still kind. But I protect myself at the end of the day because it just simply comes down to vetting people. You know, you could say you want marriage and children, but are you willing to keep a job to make sure as a man that you are a provider and that your children can build their life in a comfortable circumstance? I know far too many niggas out here that are having kids, have girlfriends, and that woman is picking up any and everything that provider was supposed to do. Your priorities are fucked up. Let's just stop right there. There is no reason why you should be in a relationship or trying to have children or have children with anybody if you can't keep bread and food on the table. It's ridiculous. And it's like an illness out here that people's priorities are really off track. Now, I'm not trying to complain, but like I said, I've been in this situation more than once. And it turns a warm-hearted person like me very cold, where the situations and circumstances that I've been in, I now have to not necessarily take them out on the next man, but I'm super careful. And that man has to prove to me through consistency and vision that he is, in fact, a person that will not leave me with the bill, that he will not leave me with the brunt of the work, that I don't have to do the mechanical things around the house, that I don't always have to be the one cleaning up myself, that I don't always have to be the one paying all the bills, that I don't have to be the one that has the education while you're working temporary jobs or unemployed most of the year. It's scary out here, ladies. It's scary out here, men. And you have to be careful about even the women that you choose. Like, what type of man are you at the end of the day? And I say that to say, it isn't just men out here that are sick and leeching off of women, it's women too. If you're the type that wants to be 50-50, find you a woman that's willing to go hard with you 50-50. Me personally, I've been the breadwinner for a very long time. So I'm looking for a man that wants to be a man. Yes, you will make sure that this household is covered. You will make sure that the bills are paid, and I will make sure that I'm doing the checks and balances of the household. You bring that paycheck in, baby, I'll manage it for you. You pay the rent, I'm gonna pay the power bill. I'll do the groceries. I think that's the traditional means that I've always desired, but I've never been able to obtain because I've always tried to build the bear up. I've always tried to construct a man instead of meeting a man that wants to be a man. And like I said, it's frightening. And it puts me in fight mode. And honestly, I'm a fighter. You just ain't gonna run over me. You just ain't gonna talk to me any old type of way and not bring the bread in the house. And even if you are bringing the bread in the house, I still have enough self-respect to, have some dignity at the end of the day. Let's talk to each other with some sense. Let's talk to each other with some logic, even if emotion is involved in the situation. And I hate to keep repeating how frightening it is to be set in your life and to keep elevating, and then you run into these type of men and women. But I kid you not, there's a lot of bums out here in disguise that put on this facade that they're this, that they're that they want good things in life, but they're not willing to work for them. And it's like having a gaydar. When you can tell somebody is fruity, and there's nothing wrong with being fruity. Let me just, put that out there. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I love you. I respect you. I'm not God. I cannot judge you. Although we tend to judge sometimes. We're human. But it's like for them in particular, people that are used to being in this mode of survival, it's like they have a radar on people that are set, that are good, that have a foundation. I kid you not, I should have did psychology. And I'm thinking about going back and looking at the confines of the way people think. Because as an Aquarius, I'm like a deep-ass thinker. I'm always like, what in the hell is this person thinking? And why would they even think it's okay to put me in a situation where I'm carrying the burden? And I can tell you somewhat of what they think. Oh, shit. She got a career. She got a car. She got her own place. She don't live with her mom. She don't live with her grandma. Ooh, it's something I could capitalize on. Or for women, ooh, he buying shoes. He like nice things. Ooh, what mask could I put on to fit his ideal image? And then when I walk through the door, I'm going to act an ass. And there's simplistic red flags. Okay? People got to walk that walk and talk that talk when they fucking with me at this point in life. But there's red flags that we see, but we really don't pay attention to because maybe we're blinded by looks or maybe we're blinded by sex. This all goes back to my first episode. There are things that you should not engage in until you vet a person, because you begin to be spiritually and mentally connected to people. And it's hard to break those bonds once you begin to connect yourself because of the artificial attributes or characteristics of a person. And I'm just being flat out. So, to be honest, when I look at a dynamic, especially since I'm in the mode of figuring out, who I would want to be with for the rest of my life, and that person has to figure out if they want to be with me for the rest of my life. Making more than your man? Nah, I couldn't do it. No, I need a man that's coming in here and is like, when everything falls down, he's got it. When everything falls down for him, I got it. And this doesn't just boil down to money, but You need to have your own things. You got to come to the table with your own vehicle. You got to come to the table with your own crib. And then when we finally do vet each other, then we can decide which direction that we want to go. Maybe you can move in with me. Maybe I can move in with you. Preferably, I'm going to move in with you. You know, the dynamic is horrible. I've lived it. It makes you insane, especially when people don't understand what they've put you through as they've been comfortable and you've been trying to scrape up any and everything to make the relationship survive and work. So I do expect a man to obtain and match my hustle and my vision. My vision is to be in $1 million home. That's what I've been exposed to. I didn't come from that, but I am grateful for my father who I met. He exposed me to living in $1 million neighborhood. So that's the goal. Like, once you see something and you've been in it, what else do you know? Just like, again, when you are connecting yourself spiritually, mentally, physically to these other people, honestly ask yourself, what do they know? What did they come from? If they come from an unorthodox family, that's all they know. They've probably seen arguing, beating on each other, dismissing each other. Who do they connect themselves to? Look at their friend group. Are their friends a lot of single people that don't really care about the sacredness of marriage and matrimony and monogamy? Look at where people come from. Now, I'm not to say that people can't come from the trenches and have a renewed vision. That's me. I grew up with 5 other siblings, and we shared a room growing up. And as tough as that was to be the eldest on both sides, not only my mom's, but my father's as well, shoot, by 8 years old, I was combing hair and cooking. So all I know is to be a strong woman that has a vision. And I saw where I came from, and I'm like, I can't do this to my kids, because you have to break those generational curses, and people don't understand. If your mom did it and your sister did it, what are you going to do differently to be outside of that history that has been replicated over and over and over again? So just to stay back on topic, they absolutely have to match my hustle. There is no way in the hell that I could get somebody, that has not finished their education, that doesn't even envision themselves finishing their education, that makes excuses why they can't excel. Yes, we're Black in America, for those that tune in and are Black. Yes, there are obstacles, but if you always keep that roadblock in the back of your head, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to stop yourself. You're going to hinder yourself. Learn to be a chameleon. Learn to change within your environment. That way you can excel in wherever you step. And I can tell you, I've been in some very uncomfortable situations. I'm not going to lie. In my career, I have, where I was the only minority on the staff. But you know what? I did what I did. I make it do what it do. And it's like, you can't say anything to me at the end of the day, because I have been able to understand the quality of being adaptable. Okay, and this goes back to relationships and picking a partner that matches your hustle. They have to be adaptable. If you are a person that when they were good and they picked you up and you were down and out, how are you going to adapt so when they fall, the situation is good for both of you? You can still continue to live the quality of life that she was living or he was living before they fell on their ass. These are questions you have to ask. So, no, I couldn't do it. My man needs to make more than me. He needs to understand the dynamic. He needs to be taking care of, the larger portion of the bills. I can help and supplement where need be. Yes, I plan to be the woman that makes $250K, $300 a year. I do want to see $1 million. But baby, I'm the woman. And because I am the woman, I go through different experiences and paths than you do, because at the end of the day, if you are real and you're about settling with me, I have to take care of our children. I have to change the course of their life, the one that I didn't have. And quite possibly, probably the one that you didn't have either. Because I'm not afraid of being with a mate that didn't come from a silver spoon. That's not the inquiry here. That's not the problem. The problem is people leeching onto you, clasping onto you, that don't have the balls to get it out the gutter. And I mean, that's pounding the pavement every day, every pain that you've dealt with, every sad emotion that you had to go through in your childhood and adulthood, that you don't see it as an obstacle, but more or less motivation to be better than yesterday. And unapologetically, because I'm such a complex mind, I might have veered off topic just a little bit, because I always go back to my experiences and try to derive logic out of these crazy scenarios that have happened in my life due to my poor choices at large, really. So I have no one to blame but myself at the end when I think about, should I want a relationship, or would I want to be in a relationship where a man is making more than me? If that's something you want, you should back down. If you want the new shoes, you should save up to get them. If you want to get straight A's, you should study and ask questions and go to tutoring to get them. So ultimately, this does fall back on me and my choices. But I've learned some great and valuable things from what I perceive traumatizing experiences. It's hard out here, and people are always looking for a come up. So just to circle back around to the question, is making more than your man okay as a woman or a man, right? I want to include you guys too. What does that dynamic look like? For me, it looks torturous. I'm tormented every time I get a man that makes less than me and does not have the foundation or vision that I have. And then, lastly, do you expect him to obtain or match your hustle? Hell yeah, no question about it. So tweet me, skewed_podcast. Hit me on Facebook. Send me a message. Instagram me. You guys have been awesome about using that platform. Bree X Bond. That is my Instagram. My YouTube is up and running. Skewed Reality Podcast. Okay, where you can see some of the visual aspects of my platform. Also, I have had great feedback and generation on SoundCloud as well. If you want to make a comment on a certain segment or time in the show, that would be awesome. I can address any concerns or relation to the content. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate you. And now we're about to switch it up. As always, you guys know that I have to be touching on something going on in the world, whether it's sports, politics, movies, controversy. I'm trying to look at it from a different angle and figure out what the hell is going on in this world. For instance, let's think about the new HIV strain that has surfaced. My heart is pumping a little bit. And to be honest, I'm not worried for myself. I'm worried for others in the generation that we live in. I'm very reserved, so I can't really speak and say I'd be the one at risk, because I tend to make good decisions with my sexual health that always has the narrative in which I would be protecting myself. But that's really besides the point. I'm just here to say, first of all, when I think about the history of HIV, and I am a conspiracy theorist, wasn't this a man-made disease in the first place? Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you have more information, please share it with me, because this is an avenue that I am still exploring myself. But now news conglomerations have circulated. It's been nearly 2 decades since we've seen any other type of strain out of what they've already discovered. And that's not to say that a strain can't mutate and break off and, form another. That's just basic, plain foundational science. But this is quite disturbing, to say the least. Especially all of the money and awareness that HIV has, and it continues to poison lives. I just saw a commercial the other day in which you can take a pill to protect yourself if you are in fact with an HIV positive partner. Now all of a sudden there's a new strain. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go in the direction of population control. I'm gonna have to go in the direction of man-made. This is, one of these things that when I think about Christianity and going back to Bible stories, why God, if there is a God, which I do believe there is a God, they would cleanse the earth, because we keep doing detrimental things like this instead of looking into research that helps people thrive, grow, and build. And as I weasel my way through this subject and topic, I really want to hear from those that are negative tested partners and would ideally want to go with a HIV positive person. I want to know the logic behind that. I'm very curious. Does love really empower all to overlook something so life-threatening as that? Seriously, it's a question that I just ponder about, and I'm not sitting here judging you because who the hell am I? You know, I'm just your favorite podcast host, but other than being that, I mean, I'm another human being, and I know how love can allow you to overlook things that can be life-threatening. I mean, look at the construct of people in bad relationships that just don't seem to leave if the opportunity presents itself. Because there is that other side of the token where the opportunity does not present itself and you feel like your back is against the wall and you are just stuck. But besides that point, it was so funny. I was reading the CNN article and they were articulating that the public should not worry, basically, and that not many people are infected with this strain of HIV. It's just literally an outlier that exists every once in a blue moon. And then to be unbiased, I found myself going against another news source called Philly Voice, and I've really been in tune with them and I like them and I follow them a lot. So I viewed it as like a trusted source, possibly to maybe look at what CNN has gathered about this HIV strand. And they said by advancing our technique and using next generation sequencing technology, we are pulling the needle out of the magnet, meaning this scientific discovery can help us ensure we are stopping new pandemics in their tracks. So one is saying, hey, don't worry about it. And the other is saying, this is literally a pandemic that could possibly occur after 20 years have passed. We've seen all these strands. We've tried to get it under control with medication, protecting people, and now, hey, here's a new strand. Ooh, I'm sorry, again, this makes me a little fearful. Please, people, watch who you sleep with, protect yourself, go get tested. That's just the word of the day. Human health is everything. It's health, it's wealth, it's just go get checked up. Even if you're scared, get it handled, get it out there. I'm an advocate for it because I believe that your longevity as a human being is everything. So even as I stand from this point of view and say that this could possibly be very uninteresting and distressing news to hear, it's important that you involve yourself with this inquiry and understand how it can impact every single human being. So I'm going to have to champion that this is a real issue we all need to be aware of. Let's talk about it. Let's have a comfortable discussion about our sexual health. It's a need, it's a want, and it's damn sure a right to know. As you guys mingle and go into this cuffing season, looking for new reasons to motivate yourself, to grow, to expand your vision with the person in your corner for the rest of your life. And that receipt of their sexual health and where they are, you deserve that. So let this be an awareness check for you and your partner on whatever journey you've taken that maybe you're already in or going into for the new year, the new season, the new chapter in your life. Now, as always, when you guys hear that sound, you know that I'm about to switch gears. And so, as I've always been trying to do, is be consistent and insert some comedic, lighthearted stuff into this show because it's needed in a world full of crazy shit. So, as you guys know, and may have already heard on the other shows that I've already recorded and produced, this segment is called Stupid Questions That Need Stupid Answers. So, this time around, I was chopping it up with my family. And we were really just going back and forth about embarrassing things that have come about in our lives. And one of the questions were, what are 3 things you could buy at the grocery store to make the cashier give you weird looks? Now, I was understanding that these questions beg for an answer. And the answers don't always have to make sense. But honestly, here's my 2 cents about this question.
This part about the foreign business is minding your own.
Seriously, there should be nothing that you buy at a store that you should feel embarrassed about. For ladies that have to buy pads and tampons, I appreciate you. You're hygienic to say the least. You don't want to be like a snail scooting your fluids all over the place. Why should you feel embarrassed, and why the hell is the cashier giving you an odd look? For those that buy condoms, shout out to you. Just going back to the topic we already discussed of the new HIV strand that exists, would you rather catch that or buy $5 in condoms and have the cashier look at you a little weird? Maybe they're insecure because they don't use any themselves. That's none of my business. That's none of their business. You know, so there's so many things that are intimate, hygienic, and most importantly, needed for the well-being of our health to uphold the modernized ways in which we keep up with our human health system. Now, to answer the question, because it was funny as hell, what are 3 items that will make the cashier look at you funny? My main take is to mind your damn business. My second take is going to have to be condoms, any sex toy, and possibly pads or tampons. Because we just all know how awkward it is as women to be on that cycle in whatever time of the month that it comes. And you sneeze and you feel just a rush of the ocean come out of your body. It's a real uncomfortable situation that I'd rather not share any further. That picturesque type of example that I just gave you should have already told you much more than you needed to know. So to pose the question to the audience as a final mode of thought, are you going with take 1, where you're like, the cashier should just make their $10 an hour or less or more and mind their business? Or take 2, this is your chance as the audience to list a couple of things that you think the cashier would look at you crazy over. Now, it's funny nonetheless, right? We're human, we can be judgmental, we think about things in all different dynamics. List those items. What do you think would set or trigger that cashier off to be like, what the hell is this person doing? When and if you guys address this question, be sure to pose the question, list the top 3 items that would make that cashier's eye bulge, and make sure you are hashtagging Skewed Reality Podcast. I don't care where you do it, if it's on the SoundCloud, if you're just commenting on iHeartRadio, or if you're leaving a review on iTunes. Make sure you are hashtagging Skewed Reality Podcast. And as a little surprise for those that have been extremely consistent and tuning into the show, here is your chance to cash in on a Cash App opportunity. For those that are actual fans, this won't be hard for you to take advantage of. When you get to this segment of the show, make sure you tweet me or hit me on one of my socials that revolve around Skewed Reality Podcast. This is your opportunity to listen to this episode, and you will receive $10 via Cash App. All you need to do is request it from me. The first 5 people that are able to do that, you will get $10. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but this is the season of gratitude where every single penny counts. So make sure when you are reaching out, you give me some advice or your take on one of the shows that have happened thus far. I told you guys I was doing some sort of giveaway in my last episode, and I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. 50 of my hard-earned dollars are going out the window just to get some feedback and opinions from you guys. What it is, what it do, it's the end of the show. Thank you guys for listening, and happy holidays as we end this last quarter of the year. Yeah.